So as a doctor, which way are you going to go? Well, there's only one active tomo machine going on in the country and only one doctor fully cognizant and fully expertise at running this tomotherapy machine. So I find it abhorrent that we in America do nothing for ourselves. It's just ongoing politically, medically, health-wise, environmental-wise, economic-wise. We do nothing to stop the avarice and the outright subjugation of the people of this country. It's become such an evil mess. I don't understand how anyone can be a Democrat or a Republican or can salute the flag. I really don't. It's just mind-boggling how immense the evil in this country is. Making sure that you become obese, making sure that all of the foods you eat are poisoned with GMO, poisoned with all kinds of additives to make sure that you become ill, and so that the medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry and the other corporations can reap the benefits of your illnesses and your deaths.
It's amazing. Well, we're very encouraged to hear that you are on the path to recovery. I know you asked for people to help out with donations. Tell us about where they could do that, sir.
Well, it's very expensive. It's cost a couple $1,000 every month to stay in these places in Scottsdale. It's a rich neighborhood, so to find a decent place to stay, it costs a couple thousand, and then over $1,000 a day for the alternative treatments, where they clean out your blood. They take out about a third of a quart of blood, and they extrapolate the heavy metals, the bad metals out of your blood and the toxins, and then they oxygenate your blood because cancer cells cannot stand oxygen. And they also put in the supplements necessary to rebuild your immune system, so that any kind of disease can't enter your body in your weakened state. So that's the big cost. My insurance is taking care of probably about 90%, along with Medicare, taking care of about 90% of my tomotherapy. Nevertheless, it's still, we don't know the cost to that yet, but I do know that $1,000 a day, it really adds up quickly. And of course, I've exhausted my savings, and the good people around the world have been sending in money from $5 to $500. So I really appreciate that. We've had some large donations, and you can send those to the Russell Means Healing Fund at 444 Crazy Horse Drive, Porcupine, South Dakota. Porcupine, Porcupine, 57772. Russell Means Healing Fund.
And I know we have that information up on screen as well. Now, Russell, I think there are a lot of people who are aware that chemotherapy treatments are very destructive, but at the same time, cancer is so epidemic. And when people are older and are faced with the cancer issue, I think they feel very desperate, as though there is no alternative. As you point out, there's very few centers that even offer alternative treatment. But how did cancer become so epidemic in the first place?
Well, in the first place, it all goes to the weakening of your immune system. And, not only as the foods that I've mentioned, every food, even the vegetables that are imported are gassed so that they will be preserved, and they're even gassed so they'll change color to make it look even more healthy. And then after they get here, they're sprayed again to keep them fresh. That's poison. But with all those additives and GMO crops, with it's unbelievable that you poison a plant that you're going to eat so that it'll poison bugs that try to feed off of it. It just doesn't make sense. Then the further treatment, the treatment of chemotherapy and radiation just destroys your immune system to invite any and every other kind. Now, when you get all this other health problems, if it's not cancer, then they give you the meds that cover up. And you've seen them advertised on TV. They tell you that they're bad for you, and it might even cause death. But they say, consult your doctor. Well, your doctor's part of the problem. Problem because he doesn't know any better. He does what he's taught, and with the dollar bill dangling in front of his nose. Well, more than a dollar bill. But at any rate, all of that's conspiracy. And it is a living, breathing conspiracy, because why would they outlaw alternative medicines and scientific medicines, the technology from Germany? Why is that outlawed? So you see, it speaks of itself. It's just an evil that keeps turning over and over and over and over.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people already understand the military-industrial complex, but maybe not as many people recognize, the pharmaceutical health industry complex that's built around it. And you have all these funds and foundations raising money for breast cancer awareness and the race to find a cure. But as you point out, they're not interested in the cure, Russell.
Exactly. It's a shell game. You know, it grew from the carnival all the way into your every aspect of your life. What you eat, how you live, what you breathe. And then when it all comes down to you want to get well, that's a conspiracy against you right there. So it's almost so immense, it's not worth fighting. But it is, believe me, life is worth fighting for.
Yeah. And I don't know if you were able to follow while you were dealing with your own health issues. They've had raids against organic and raw food stores, raids on lemonade stands, all from the same regulatory agencies that are in bed with Monsanto and the other GMO companies, ensuring that they get approved on the fast track status. Have you been following some of those issues?
Oh, very definitely. And that's what enrages me even further, is every place you look in this allegedly great country, you know, we got to document that is proof that this could be a great country, but it isn't. Ever since the 1840s, when the corporate power was born, but I've gone through that with you on your program before. The historical abdication of our responsibility as free people, and it's just ongoing. It's just ongoing, and now to watch the alleged political process, another fixed part of America. You know, I don't understand the lack of the dearth of a good man or a good woman coming forward to run for president and run for Congress. I just don't understand the lack thereof, the lack of organization, the lack of purpose. You know, after the last president and this current president, that should convince everyone that to be a Demopublican is suicidal, and that only an idiot would be a Democrat or a Republican. Only an idiot. Someone whose mind has been so completely co-opted, he might as well not have one. And a third party should have been reborn already. Just the last two presidents. And now we have a president that's assassinating American citizens without any due process. Holy moly. And the guy is allegedly, that Negro in the White House is allegedly a lawyer, a constitutional lawyer. My God. And he's Harvard educated? Give me a break.
Yeah, and those parties write the election laws too. That's another part of the challenge. But you took a lot of heat for calling out Obama early on after he'd been elected and early in his term just because you saw the advisors and the writing was on the wall. What do you think now, after it's so obvious how bad things have gotten, all the people who attacked you, especially on the left?
Well, all I know is that the presidents are interchangeable. They're anointed and appointed. And you don't become president unless you acquiesce to the powers that put you there. And so it doesn't matter who changes or what alleged party, because there's no party difference. The only party differences between a Democrat and a Republican is spending priorities. That's all. Because the same thing goes on. The health industry is going to remain the same. The military-industrial complex is going to remain the same. Look what they've done in the last 10 years to the American people. And the American people are bending over and walking backwards, not doing a damn thing to defend themselves with the most important piece of paper in the history of the patriarchal world, you know, and that's the Constitution of the United States of America. They got the strongest weapon ever created, and yet the American people have abdicated their responsibility. And as I state over and over and over again, freedom is simply, you are free to be responsible.